Today, I am all about the comfort food. I'm talking about a gorgeous, super easy, and simple sausage bake with pasta and veggies. Gonna knock your socks off. Super delicious, pretty healthy, and you know what? It's a great family kind of recipe. So, first things first, like everything else, today we're gonna go hot and heavy on our oven. Preheat your oven 450 degrees Fahrenheit or about 220, 225 degrees Celsius. Get that off and going. That's one thing. The second thing, I've already got my pot of water, salted water boiling here. You know, watching water come to a boil is a lot of fun. But to eliminate that step, I've got it already pre-boiled. So here's how it's gonna go. I have got a 9x13 stainless steel pan that I'm gonna roast in. I'm gonna share a little secret with you now on how to measure pasta, not on specific quantity, but on the size of the pot or pan you're cooking. Typically, there goes my oven, ready to go. So typically, for this recipe, I'm using rotini, or I don't know what the hell these are called. They got like a million different names for these things. Let me tell you something. Italians got more names for their pasta than they do for their people. It's insane. Million names. But here's the thing. When you're gonna cook with this, and you don't want, pasta being left over for whatever it is you're using, fill your pan to about, give or take, halfway. So now that our pan is almost halfway, about there, give or take, we know that once our pasta cooks and it's gonna almost double in size, it's gonna be absolutely perfect. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab my mitt here because I have a thing against getting like my hands burned. Take this and slowly now add this pasta to your water. Perfect. Put the pan aside, nothing to this. I'm gonna grab a wooden spoon, give this a real quick stir. The next part of this is actually getting our sauce and our veggies cooked. So for this, I've got half a cauliflower that I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna leave this aside here, and I'm gonna very simply cut this up, remove the green. Actually, you know what? Screw it, don't remove the green. I'm gonna add my cauliflower in there. I'm just gonna remove the hard part here, or the inside, or the stem, or the stalk. Cut out the really hard part here, and that way you got the best part of the cauliflower and only, and let it just sit there with your pasta and let it cook together. And just cut it into small pieces. Well, not really that small, maybe an inch by an inch. And that way, you're gonna save time by cooking your cauliflower and your pasta together. So give that a quick stir there. So that takes care of that. So now we've stirred this a little bit. We have our cauliflower in there with our pasta. Moving on to the next step, which is the actual sauce. So for this, let's fire up this puppy. I'm gonna take a little bit of olive oil. Now, I'm gonna take my sausage, and if you notice, I've got my red cutting board here for meats. Now, this is my own sausage here. I've made this myself with some very, very dear friends. I'm just gonna cut away the sausage casing because I don't want the sausage per se. I want the sausage meat inside, that gorgeous, gorgeous meat inside. So all I'm gonna do is very simply start taking this and crumbling this into my pan. All right, so this is the last of my sausage going in. And for this, I've used 3 sausage links, or about a pound of sausage. Now, cutting board, gone, done. We're not gonna need it again now. So now what I'm gonna be chopping with is my wooden cutting board for my veggies. Now, the next part of this that I like to do at this point is add my spices now. I want the oils to be released and amp the flavor. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon and 1 clove are going to go in this, just like that. Nothing to this. Now, as my sausage browns, the cinnamon and the clove, all the aromas and the oils from that are going to come out. It is going to be absolutely magnificent. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And keep breaking away at the pieces because ultimately you want these to be fairly as small as possible. So leave that there. The next thing, 1 onion. Just take an onion, and the choice is yours here on how you want to do this. You can chop it, you can slice it, whatever. In my case, I'm going to do a very coarse chop. Doesn't really matter, whatever you prefer. Perfect, that's my onion. Just going to throw that in there, just like that. Also, now what's going to happen is the onion will release its moisture and also act like a deglaze for my pan. So while this is kind of doing its thing now, leave that there. I'm going to turn this down a little bit, give my pasta and my cauliflower a little attention, get that going. This thing is going to be done in just a few minutes. Now, Greeks typically boil the crap out of their pastas. You can do this al dente, you could do this whatever you like. It's totally fine. Take a little bit of salt is going to go in here. A little bit of fresh cracked black pepper is going to go down as well. Love this. Love this, just this whole flavor. I'm going to take a little bit of sriracha. I want like a little bit of heat. So for this, I'm just using maybe half a teaspoon to a teaspoon. You want a little bit of spice. You don't want it to feel like your colon burst into flames. That's not fun. So let this kind of go do its thing and keep breaking up the pieces as we go along. Next, 1 clove of garlic is going to go in. I've minced this already. You know, you can mince it. A lot of people put them in whole so that way they can remove them later. That will work too, totally fine. Oh my gosh, this is really smelling like something now, baby. All right, moving along. While this does its thing here, 1 bell pepper. In my case, I'm using a green bell pepper from my garden. I froze it, no shame in that. Chopped it up, ready to go. So whatever you have on hand, you can use red, you can use yellow, orange. The flavor is going to be magnificent, absolutely magnificent. And notice what we're doing. We're building flavors and layers of flavor as we go. Next thing, 1 eggplant. Pastas, and specifically pasta bakes, do absolutely amazing things with eggplant in them. So for this, I'm just going to cut this down the middle, and I'm going to chop this up into like 1/2-inch cubes. You don't want anything too huge, so it takes like hours, but you don't want anything too tiny. You still want to know that there's eggplant in your dish. Eggplant is done, and it's going to go in there. So now my eggplant's in there. Let that go for just a couple, 3 minutes. Now, here's the thing with eggplant. If you're using eggplant, or if you've ever noticed that when you add eggplant to a sauce or to oil to fry, it acts like a sponge, it absorbs it. Don't be fooled or lured into like thinking that you can actually like just add some more oil and it'll be fine. Don't, because what will happen is after that, if you're left with oil after eggplant's in there, it's going to be so heavy, it's not going to be very pleasant, especially after you eat. All right, so now that my pasta is pretty much done with my cauliflower, time to take this off the burner there and just drain that, leave that off to the side. Now, next part of this. a little bit of crushed tomatoes. And for this, I'm going to do about 1.5 cups or 12 ounces of crushed tomatoes is going in there, along with 2 cups of water. And this will, in essence, make up our sauce for this. Now, little bit of my dried Greek, let me get some of these stalks in here. Toothpicks at the end. So you're going to do about a teaspoon of dried Greek oregano here. Will go in, boom, just like that, and give that a stir. Smell-o-vision. That's what they should invent. This is unbelievable. Lastly, 300 grams of previously frozen spinach is going to go in here. For this recipe, I'm using about 300 grams of feta. So half of our feta, I'm going to crumble into this, and it's going to give us our briny that we want, that brininess or that tangy zing. And now what's going to happen is, because I've cut back on the salt, it's not going to be overly salty as well. So take this, let me just wash my hands off real quick, just like that. And that looks like it's almost pretty much ready to go. So our pan, I'm going to take our pasta along with our cauliflower, and I'm going to fill it up. Now watch what happens as I'm filling this up. There's going to be next to no pasta left over. Boom. No pasta. It worked out perfectly. Perfectly. Would I lie to you? Absolutely not. Now, here's the other thing. Kefalotiri. I add kefalotiri to this. If you don't like that, if you can't find kefalotiri, use mizithra. If you can't find mizithra, you know what? Parmesan works great. I keep telling everybody, 60 million Italians can't be wrong. And if they say Parmesan works, Parmesan will work. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my kefalotiri and real quick, just grate it over my pasta. Oh, there's a little piece there. Just boom, do that. And just grate that in over your pasta. Again, layers of flavor for this throughout. Very, very interesting. So, boom. You're going to need, in total, about 80 to 100 grams of the grated cheese. And for this, just give that a quick little toss here, a little stir, just like that. Gorgeous. Our sauce is pretty much ready to go. Check this out now. Time to incorporate my sauce. Oh, yeah, baby. Just do it, man. Just, this. And just stir everything in there to incorporate everything. So now you have your pasta, your kefalotiri, our gorgeous, luscious sauce, the sausage. Everything is just, this is not only delicious, it's also going to be nutritious. Now, if you want to carb this down, and that's not a problem at all, you could either serve this with a cauliflower mash as a topping, just the salad, or you can do this with like cauliflower rice, or whatever, or just the way it is. This is a very, very, very hearty, meal. Now there's what's left over of our feta, and I'm just going to crumble this nice and easy over my pasta, my bake. And because we're going hot and heavy on the oven, we're doing like 450. This will take no time. Everything's basically cooked in here. So you're not really cooking anything. You just want everything to kind of bake off and become all kind of incorporated. So that's perfect, just like that there. And I'm going to take a little more of my kefalotiri and just grate this over for a little more added flavor. So we're doing multiple layers of flavors. So this is going to go now into our oven, 450. Remember, we're going hot and heavy for about 20-25 minutes. Everything is cooked. All I want to do is just have everything melt, combine, and become GBD, baby, golden brown and delicious. All right, this puppy is like right out of the oven. Oh my gosh, this is like so gorgeous. I've actually, not exactly right out of the oven. It's been out for about 10 minutes. I just wanted to kind of reconstitute itself, and it's just, my gosh. I don't know what to get first, my fork or tell you all about this. I'll do both. You can smell the baked eggplant, all the flavors coming out, the spice, just gorgeous, absolutely magnificent, absolutely wonderful. So no time like the present. I'm gonna take a little piece of eggplant and take a little piece of pasta here. That, my friends, is cover me with a blanket and cuddle me good. This is so good. A little bit of the heat of the sriracha. You got the earthiness of the eggplant. The cauliflower is coming out, even though I didn't have any cauliflower. It's done to absolute perfection. What am I going to serve this with? You could either garnish it, but we Greeks don't garnish anything. Believe me when I tell you this. If it's green, it's on our plate, it's part of the salad. Everything that went into this dish came out of either my fridge, freezer, or pantry. It only tastes like it took like 2 days to make. In less than an hour, you have got a beautiful meal for at least 4 people, 6 as well, or a couple 3 hungry Greeks. So that's it for this episode on my easy what is in the pantry sausage bake. Literally, it's whatever you have on hand. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, smash that like button and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out online for this recipe and so many other things. And until next time, my friends, stay safe, stay healthy, and above all else, be kind to each other. See you on the next one. Bye for now.